Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing two melee based builds. So these are going to be focusing on your melee ability, your melee stat. Uh, the first one we're going to be using Solar with the exotic Ophidia Spaith. So this gives you two knife charges, and getting a kill gives you a damage bonus, and it stacks up to 3 times. And then Gambler's Dodge refreshes the bonus timer. So we're going to be using Blade Barrage. You can use any super, I just find Blade Barrage is pretty nice. Gambler's Dodge, Weighted Throwing Knife, and Trip Mine Grenade. You can use any solar grenade, just make sure it's one that preferably scorches. Because with this build, if you throw your knife at something that's scorched, it'll ignite them. So, what you want with this build is Weighted Throwing Knife, because it does more precision damage, more base damage too, and precision kills instantly recharge your class ability, but also, with this aspect, while radiant, final blows with your throwing knife fully refund your melee energy. And then with this aspect, precision final blows make you radiant if you're at 3 stacks of this. So pretty much with these aspects and fragments, you'll always be radiant, which means every time you get a kill with your knife, it'll just keep coming back. So you'll never run out of knives unless you miss one, then that's what Gambler's Dodge is for. Fragments, we're using Ember of Empyrean, so you have Radiant for longer, because if your Radiant is at like 1 second, it's about to run out, you can uh, kill something with your melee, it'll instantly give you 15 more seconds of Radiant, and your weapons also give you Radiant, so that's really good. Ember of Torches, for even more Radiant from your melee kills, which means you'll be Radiant the second you get a melee kill, so your first melee kill will give you your melee back, so you won't even lose any. Ember of Solace, increased duration for Radiant. Ember of Searing, to give you more melee energy and a fire sprite. And then Ember of Ashes, so you can apply more Scorch. So we're going to be using the exotic Bastion. There's no catalyst, but it has the trait Saint's Fist, so it has 3 spreads. After a successful melee hit, it just buffs the weapon, but hitting a target with most of the pellets increases melee damage for, I think it's 3 or 4 seconds, so it's pretty much 1-2 punch. I think this, after a successful melee hit, it buffs the weapon. That will give you a buff above your super bar called Saint's Fury, and then hitting with most of the pellets gives you Saint's Fists. So if you see Saint's Fury, it'll buff the weapon. If you see Saint's Fists, it'll buff your melee. Usually Saint's Fists has like 5-second longer duration. And then it's also an unstoppable weapon, which is really useful. We're going to be using the new Solstice SMG Tide Apex. Like I said in my other video, Heal Clip Incandescent is the god roll. Really, you can use any solar weapon here. If you want, you can use the new Spread Shot Hand Cannon from Arms Week and get 1-2 punch on that, just for more melee damage, but I find Tide Apex is pretty good. And then, just any solar power weapon. I use Outrageous Fortune because it's great for ad clear, incandescent and chain reaction is the ad clear god roll for a weapon like this. And you can also get some other perks that just buff the weapon, but I find these are better perks. So the artifact, this is for both builds. We've got Anti-Berry Scout and Pulse, Unstoppable Sidearm and Hand Cannon, and then Overload Rapid Fire. Then we've got Flame Fiber and Freeze, and Tightly Woven, which you won't really need, but Gotta have something in this column. Third column, we have Fever and Chill, Reciprocal Draw, and then Refresh Threads. So about half of these are for the other build. Fourth column, we have Threaded Blast and Elemental Coalescence. And then final column, we have Radiant Shrapnel and Shield Crush. So for armor, we're going to be using melee mods on all the armor, just so I have 150 melee, which gives me 15% more damage in PvE. So I would just get that as high as you can. 150 was the highest I could get it, but if you can get it higher, that's perfect, just to do more damage. You want the Brawler archetype for your armor. I don't have that on all my armor, just my cloak, chest piece, and helmet. But you could also use something like Paragon, because the secondary stat is melee, but Brawler is better. Also because it gives you health. So for helmet, we're going to be using double Solar Siphon and then Kinetic Siphon. For the gauntlets, we're going to be using Heavy Handed, Impact Induction, and Momentum Transfer. For the boots, we're using Innervation, Kinetic Weapon Surge, and Solar Weapon Surge. Then for the cloak, we have Bomber, Time Dilation, and Reaper. So, like I said in most of my other videos, right now, for the next week, is Solstice, so you're going to want to get this armor. Preferably 4 pieces, so you can get the 4-piece armor set bonus. Rapid Solar Final Blows heal you. That is perfect for this build, because you're always getting solar kills. So right now I'll just show the build. So with 2 stacks of the Scissor Fingers, which is the damage buff from getting knife kills, and Saint's Fists, you can one-shot a champion. It does, Scissor Fingers does go up to 3 stacks, but 2 stacks will do it. Sometimes it's a little tricky to get it, but it usually works. So, as you can see, if I throw one knife, I get 4 different buffs, and one of them is Scissor Fingers. So if I do it again, there it is again, and then 2 stacks, and then 3 stacks, and then I can use Bastion, and then I missed my knife, so here we have times 3. That can almost one-shot the champion, and if you have Saint's Fists, it'll 100% one-shot every time. And that's perfect for this build, because since there's nothing for barrier champions, unless you use your grenade launcher while you're radiant, you're gonna want to like nuke them so that they don't put their barrier up. So let me just rally real quick, and then I'll show it again with Bastion this time, and only 2 stacks of Scissor Fingers. So you can see at the bottom it says Saint's Fury. I need Saint's Fists. It's kind of hard going against ads, because they're kind of far away and you need to hit most of the pellets. It's easier like using it on the champion or boss, but it is doable. So here I can just And then with Trip Mine, so you can see I never run out of my melee. You can even bounce it. So I can show it on some tougher enemies. So here you can see I got Saint's Fists, and now I can one-shot these guys. And then I can one-shot them with 2 Scissor Fingers buffs at once. And then my Trip Mine Grenade can one-shot them because I'm Radiant. And with the Artifact mod, there's different buffs, but with Shield Crush, your grenade does more damage when you're Radiant. So I can show the Saint's Fists one more time. So here we've got, just gonna get these guys to a little bit lower health, so then I can melee them. Okay, now I can one-shot a champion. Bastion also does do a lot of damage on its own. So if you run out of your knives, you can just start using Bastion. Then throw your super. With some of these tougher enemies, you might need to use your dodge since you might need to use 2 knives to kill them. But for most ads or some of the smaller orange bars, you can just use one and keep killing them. And if you find it easier, you can always use a shotgun or a spread shot hand cannon with 1-2 punch if you don't like using Bastion. Sometimes Bastion can be a little hard to get the buff, but it does do a lot of damage, and it's an unstoppable weapon. So for the next build, we're going to be using the exotic Assassin's Cowl, which is from Shadowkeep. So pretty much powered melee kills and finishers make you invis, and they heal you. And it's better if it's against orange bars. So we're on Prismatic with Tether, Gambler's Dodge, Knife Trick, and Grapple. Then Aspects we have Stylish Executioner and Gunpowder Gamble. So the good thing about Assassin's Cowl is that the grapple melee counts as a grenade and a melee. So if you use your grapple melee and kill something, it'll make you invis. And then with Stylish Executioner, after you defeat something with an elemental debuff, like Sever or Unravel from your grapple, then your next melee attack while invisible will weaken, so you can throw your knife and weaken something. Fragments, we have Facet of Balance, Facet of Awakening, Facet of Bravery, Facet of Dawn, and then Facet of Sacrifice. So we're using the exotic Quicksilver Storm, which you're going to want the catalyst for this. If you don't have this, you can use, really it doesn't matter, preferably something like a Strand, like Barodiad, or the Navigator, or just a Strand legendary weapon and use a different Solar exotic or Void exotic, but I find Quicksilver Storm works pretty well. So, pretty much, it just, it shoots little micro rockets every now and then if you're doing multiple hits of damage at a time, and then if you land 3 rockets, it'll load a grenade, 3 grenades. Each rocket you hit loads a grenade. It maxes out at 3. And then with the catalyst, it makes it Strand. It was kinetic before. And kills make tangles with the grenades if you're not on tangle cooldown. Energy weapons, it doesn't really matter what you use. I'm using the rocket assisted solar sidearm from Crucible, Heal Clip, and Burning Ambition. Burning Ambition isn't that good, but Heal Clip isn't bad. Just use a good solar weapon preferably, or Void. I tend to try to use more new weapons for the damage bonus, but if you have Heal Clip on a solar weapon, then that'll be really good. And then I use Commemoration. You can really use any Void or Solar or Strand power weapon, but I use Commemoration. So, for the armor, we're doing melee mod on everything again. And then the helmet, we have Solar Strand, Dual Siphon, and then Strand Siphon, and then Harmonic Siphon for Void. For the gauntlets, we have Heavy Handed, Impact Induction, and Momentum Transfer. Chest armor, we have Strand Ammo Generation, Melee Damage Resist, and Solar Ammo Generation. For the leg armor, we have Innervation, Strand Weapon Surge, and Solar Weapon Surge. Then the cloak, we have Bomber, Time Dilation, and Reaper again. So here I can spawn in some more enemies. So pretty much with this build you can kill something, go invis, and then if you want to see the healing you can stand over here. So now I'm at low health and I can kill something. It'll get me a little over half health. And then you see grapple melee works too. So this build is really good with Quicksilver Storm, especially because you can just make a ton of tangles and unravel everything. And killing something that has an elemental debuff, because of Stylish Executioner, will give you invis. So pretty much this build is just infinite invis, infinite healing. And it's got pretty much something for every champion. There's nothing for barriers, but you can get volatile rounds or unraveling rounds, which you can get with the fragment Facet of Bravery, or if you have Radiant from Facet of Dawn. So pretty much you can stun every champion, so I can do that. And now I have volatile rounds. So now I can go invis. So I can show it against a barrier champion. So now my machine gun has barrier rounds when I have volatile rounds. So I can just kill some more stuff, get the buffs. See, with this build, he didn't even put his barrier up, I just killed him, but you can see the shooting range doesn't always make the champions very difficult, because I just killed him in like 3 shots and a couple melees, but this build can certainly work on tough enemies, ad clear, just really anything. I think it's really good for ad clear, especially because you have tether. So you can just tether and then grapple melee to kill everything. Or gunpowder gamble. So the good thing about Assassin's Cowl is that there's no cooldown or anything. So every single melee kill or melee grapple kill will make you invis and heal you. So those were the builds for this video. Next time I'll do some more builds centered around stats and abilities. We're going to be going through the different stats. So far we've done grenade-based builds and now melee-based builds. So next I'll do class and super, health, maybe weapons. Health and weapons aren't that big as these 4 main ones because these are all your abilities. But if you want to see some more builds on abilities and stats, make sure to subscribe and like the video.